Okay, let's go over the review of this for this chapter test. I want you guys to be prepared and ready to go. So, let's do it. Number 12, I think we went over yesterday. That was a function because the x's don't repeat. Number 13 would not be a function because our 2's repeat. So if your x's repeat, it would not be a function. Number 14, this would be a function because it's the y's that repeat. All the x's are different. Okay, complete the following table. You plug the numbers in. 7 minus 2 times 0. We did this yesterday too. Move on to the next one. I think we started this one. We talked about f of 7. We're going to plug a 7 in everywhere we see an x. So f of 7 equals. Now we're done with this left side. Absolute value of 3 minus 7 times the square root of 7 minus 3 plus 7. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4. Remember, absolute value always turns it positive. 7 minus 3 is 4. We have the square root of 4 plus 7. Square root of 4 is 2, so it's 4 times 2 plus 7 gives us 8 plus 7, which is 15. Now plug 4 into the equation. 3 minus 4, absolute values, square root of 4 minus 3 plus 7. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Absolute value makes it a positive 1. 4 minus 3, square root of that is still positive 1 plus 7. 1 times 1 is 1 plus 7 is 8. F of 7 minus f of 4, that's 15 minus 8, which is 7. Okay. Onto our graph. We went through the domain yesterday. We went through f of x equals 1, and then we went through this. So we completed that problem. For the sequence, u sub n equals 3u sub n minus 1 plus 1 with u sub 1 equal to 1.5, write the first four terms. So the first term is u sub 1 equals 1.5. The second term will be 3 times 1.5, which gives me 4.5 plus 1, that's 5.5. U sub 3 would be 3 times 5.5, which is 16.5, plus 1, so that would be 17.5. And u sub 4 would be 3 times 17.5, which is 52.5, plus 1, which is 53.5. Those are my first four terms. Exercises 43 to 46. Find a formula for u sub n. Assume that the sequence is arithmetic. So if we write the formula for u sub n, I'm going to write it in the explicit form. So u sub n equals, and then that's going to be u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times my common difference, negative 6. I can distribute my negative 6 now. It gives me 3 plus negative 6n plus 6. Negative 6 times n gives me negative 6n. Negative 6 times negative 1 gives me positive 6. 3 plus 6 is 9, so I have 9 minus 6n. Number 44. I start with u sub 2 equals 4. The common difference is 3. To find u sub 1, I just go back 3. U sub 1 would equal 1 plus n minus 1 times my common difference of 3. Distribute the 3. 1 plus 3n minus 3, so 3n minus 2. Number 45. Here we have u sub 1 is negative 5, u sub 3 equals 7. In order to find what our common difference is, I need to do 7 minus negative 5 over, and then you just do 3 minus 1. Seven minus negative 5 is 12. 3 minus 1 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that's my common difference. Now I just do u sub n equals u sub 1, which is negative 5, plus n minus 1 times 6. Distribute my 6. I get negative 5 plus 6n minus 6. That's 6n minus 11. Number 46, kind of doing the same thing here. I'm going to do u sub 3, which is 2, minus u, oh, sorry, I thought that was u sub 3, and u sub 1 is u sub 3 and u sub 7. So I do negative 1 minus 2 divided by 7 minus 3. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. So I'm going down by 3/4 each time, which means to come back to u sub 1, I have to add 3/4. So 2 plus 3/4 will give me u sub 2. It's 2.75, sorry. Add another 3/4, and that gives you u sub 1, which is 3.5. Take that, u sub n equals 3.5 plus n minus 1 times negative 3/4. Distribute that negative 3/4, gives me negative 3/4 n plus 3/4. Then we just add the 3/4 to 3.5. That'll give us 4.25 minus 3/4 n. Okay, the lines 3x plus 4y equals 12 and 4x plus 3y equals 12 are perpendicular. We're just going to state whether this is a true or a false claim. Only way to do this is to put it in slope-intercept form and see what we get. I'm sure there's another way, but divide by 4, I get negative 3/4 x plus 3. Now I solve this one for y, subtract 4x, gives me 3y equals negative 4x plus 12. Divide by 3, y equals negative 4/3 x plus 12. These are not going to be perpendicular because they both have a negative. In order to be perpendicular, it's got to have the opposite reciprocal. This one just is the reciprocal, it's not opposite. Okay, find a formula for u sub n. Assume that the sequence is geometric. So we have u sub 1 equals 2, the common ratio being 3. In order to find u sub n, u sub n equals 2 times the common ratio, which is 3, raised to the n minus 1. Same thing for 86. U sub n equals 5 times negative 1/2 to the n minus 1. Number 87. In order to do this one, we have u sub 2 and u sub 7. So for this one, I need to find my common ratio first, which means I need to treat this like it's my u sub 1 and this like it's my u sub 6. And I'll show you how to do that. You do u sub n, this is our formula, equals u sub 1 times r to the n minus 1, right? But now we don't have a u sub 1, and we don't have an n minus 1. So I can start with my u sub 7, which is 6, equals u sub 2, which is 192, times r to the, and now I do 7 minus 2. So that's going to give me r to the 5th. I need to get the 192 to the other side, so I divide by 192, which is just going to be a ugly fraction. 6 over 192 is 1 over 32. And that's equal to r to the 5th. Then if I take the 5th root of both sides, that'll give me my r. So r equals 1/2, which means I'm going down by half each time, which means to go back to my u sub 1, I need to multiply by 2. (192 times 2 is 384. So then my official formula would be u sub n equals, and it's going to be 384 times 1/2 to the n minus 1. And that's it. Let's do another practice problem with number 88. I have u sub 3 equals 9 over 2. U sub 6 equals negative 243 over 16. So in order to do that, I plug negative 243 over 16 into the left side, equals, then it's 9 over 2 times r to the 6 minus 3. In order to get rid of my 9 over 2, I have to multiply both sides by 9, or by 2 over 9, sorry. That'll cancel all this out. the right side, I'll have r to the third. On the left side, it becomes 8. Nine does go into 243. So that's going to be 27. So it's negative 27 over 8. Take the cube root of both sides. It gives me negative 3 over 2 equals r. Now I can use this for my equation. Each time I'm going forward this direction, I'm multiplying by negative 3 over 2. So to find my u sub 1, I could do it a couple different ways. I could either go backwards, which would mean multiplying by the reciprocal. Should be 2/3. So 9/2 times 2/3, which is 3. That would give me u sub 2. Then multiply that by 2/3. Sorry, that should have been negative 2/3. Because I'm not multiplying by the opposite reciprocal, just the reciprocal. And this was already a negative. So u sub 2 should be negative 3. U sub 1 should be negative 2. So now my formula is u sub n equals negative 2 times negative 3 over 2 to the n minus 1. If I wanted to check that out and see how it works, I can put the 6 in here. Do negative 3 over 2 to the 5th power. And multiply that out. It's going to give me negative 243 over 16. Still messed that up though. Whenever I multiplied the second time, coming back to u sub 1, I multiplied by 2/3 again, not negative 2/3. It is what it is. It happened. All right, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. Anyways, it should give you this. Number 89, find the 11th partial sum of the arithmetic sequence with u sub 1 equals 5 and common difference of negative 2. You need to know your formulas for partial sums. K equals 1 to 11. Where were we? Sorry. So if we're doing this 11th partial sum, we need to first find u sub 11. We're going to find that by using our equation, u sub 1, so 5 plus, and then n minus 1 times negative 2, because that's our common difference. So we do that with 11, 5 plus 11 minus 1 is 10 times 2, negative 2 that is. Negative 2 times 10 is negative 20, plus 5 is negative 15. Now we're just going to plug all this in to our formula for sums. And our formula for partial sums is going to be 11 over 2, or k over 2, times, then it's a sub 1, or u sub 1, plus negative 15 And then that would all be over 2. So I guess I just did this ugly. That's better. It's the same thing, really, just a different way to look at it. Okay, 5 plus negative 15, that's negative 10, divided by 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 times 11, I'm really struggling, is negative 55. So that's what my partial sum would be from 1 to 11. Okay, let's find the fifth partial sum of the geometric sequence with u sub 1 equals 1/4 and a common ratio of 3. So many interruptions. Okay, so now we're doing the formula for the geometric sequence. So that's going to be u sub 1 times 1 minus r to the k over 1 minus r. And plug that in. U sub 1 is 1/4. 1 minus r to the k. That's 1 minus 3 to the 5th power over 1 minus 3. Gives me 1/4. 3 to the 5th. It's going to be 243. 1 minus that gives me negative 242 over negative 2. It's 121 times 1/4, which is 30.25. All right, that's our last question from the review. If you have any questions today, you can get on the Google Meet. Otherwise, you are going to have to kind of tough it out during the test tomorrow and Friday. All right, guys.